Tonight at 7 on DC News Now, a family wants answers after their son's body was found in Southeast DC. With the latest on the murder investigation.
A former Prince George's County council member heading to jail. Details from the Maryland courtroom where Mel Franklin was sentenced for stealing campaign funds.
Transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
President-elect Trump returns to Washington. The promise for a peaceful transfer of power as House Republicans celebrate on Capitol Hill.
We're tracking rain in the DMV. Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb tells us how long the showers will last.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight for DC News Now at 7 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. Right now in the district, we're learning new details about a young man's body found in a wooded area of Southeast.
Yeah, there's now a $25,000 reward for any information leading to this teen's murder. His body was discovered near Suitland Parkway. His father telling DC News Now's Randy Bass, right now, the family wants justice.
Yes, police are identifying the victim in this case as 18-year-old Alexander Pavone Rios. Police say he was shot and killed before he was left near a vent shaft here in Southeast DC, not far from Suitland Parkway. You can see the traffic going by near the intersection of Stanton Road and Dunbar Street. Not really an area where people would be likely to walk through or stop by. There is a pedestrian walkway over the parkway. A bit farther away, though, police just publicly identified the 18-year-old, putting out this flyer of the teen, reminding the public there's a $25,000 reward for information in this case. Officers tell us his body was found back on Friday, November 8th, around 7 a.m. Again, Metro's Green Line runs right under this area, but Metro Transit police say he was not found on Metro property, and says Metro's vent shafts are locked and not accessible to the public. Now, we have been in touch with Pavone Rios, his family today. His father told us via Facebook all he wants is justice for his son. His family is working to make arrangements to bring his body back home to his home country of Nicaragua. Anybody with any information at all is urged to get in touch with DC Police. In Southeast, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, we're taking a live look right now. It looks pretty out there. The Washington Monument on this crisp Wednesday evening. Looks a little chilly, doesn't it?
We made it to hump day, and it is cold. Chief Meteorologist Janessa Webb is here. Not only is it cold, but tomorrow we're set to get some more rain.
Yeah, we're set to really get this rain that we need across the DMV. Sunday just wasn't enough for us. This is going to be a good long event for you tomorrow evening. So plan to leave your house with the rain gear because your evening commute is in jeopardy. 47 is quite chilly right now across the region. I just want to show you what transpired this morning. 20s, look at Woodstock, 23, 28 out towards Washington County. We're kind of inland in DC, and so we were at 38 this morning, so not as bad farther west. Currently, temperatures into the upper 30s, middle 40s at this hour, and so tonight it's not as bad as what we saw last night. No advisories, warnings in place or frost concerns. Our big story is this rain that's making its way across the upper Tennessee Valley, about to get some enhancement out towards Chi-Town, Chicago and Detroit, and then touch the Great Lakes. So tonight we'll go partly to mostly cloudy skies. We'll notice the influence of the increase in clouds overnight, and then a wintry mix. It starts tomorrow morning in some locations of the DMV. We'll look at that coming up. Guys?
Thank you. In Maryland, charges are now being filed against an apartment complex in Prince George's County for several code violations. They include reports of mold, broken heat and air, leaks, insects, and rodents. The state's Attorney General, Anthony Brown, says they're suing the owners and managers at Heather Hills apartment complex. He says they violated licensing laws, exposed renters to deplorable conditions, and prioritized profits over people.
Every single building in the complex had housing and fire code violations, and Heather Hill failed a fire safety inspection. And yet, Heather Hill Property Company continued to charge their residents rent and threatened to assess late fees.
Brown says despite the violations, the owners and managers continued to advertise and lease these units, and they're now working to get that money back to renters.
We have an update tonight. D.C. Council member Trayon White will not face trial for a federal bribery charge for more than a year. A judge today delayed his trial until January 2026. White is accused of accepting $156,000 in bribes to extend city violence interruption contracts. Despite his legal woes, White was reelected in Ward 8 in a landslide with 76% of the votes last week. A council committee is expected to release a report on the council's separate investigation into allegations against White next month.
Now to a new federal report that says 2 Park police officers were justified when they shot and killed Bijan Gaysar back in 2017.
Yeah, the inspector general says the officers followed all but one policy at the time. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg has that full report from outside the Department of the Interior.
The 2 officers are still on paid leave. They filed a lawsuit against the Department of the Interior over the summer because the department still hasn't made a decision on their firing. Now, I talked with Bijan Gaysar's father today, who says he's not surprised, but disappointed. This Sunday marks 7 years since Bijan Gaysar of McLean was shot and killed by U.S. Park police officers.
The incident didn't kill him, only killed me too. I am not the same person anymore.
Gaysar was rear-ended in 2017 but left the scene. He was stopped twice on the GW Parkway before driving off. The third time he was stopped is when officers Lucas Vineyard and Alejandro Amaya fired multiple shots at him as he tried driving away.
They actually knew that he was a victim of the hit and run.
This week's Inspector General report concluded the officers' pursuit and drawing their guns was consistent with department policy. However, the report says Amaya struck Gaysar's SUV window during the second stop with his gun, and that did violate the Park Police's firearms policy.
This is not a democracy, the way this has happened, and the direction that we are going. I mean, literally with a simple mistake, you can easily get killed without any consequences to anybody.
Gaysar's father, James, says the report released near the anniversary of his son's death is tough.
Although I have no hope of having real justice or real changes to save other people's life, I hope at some point this would happen and we would be more kind, gentle toward each other.
Officer Vineyard's attorney told me today the IG's report came to the same conclusion as everyone else who reviewed the evidence, that Officer Vineyard did nothing wrong. He said he would not comment on the pending litigation, but hopes that it does put an end to the department's administrative action. In Northwest, Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All new tonight in Virginia, Stafford County deputies busted an illegal cockfighting ring. Investigators say they discovered the ring while executing a search warrant at a home on Norma Road that they say is known for hosting these types of events. They got a second warrant for the cockfighting allegations. Deputies say they rescued 80 chickens. Sergio Munoz is charged with 5 counts of felony animal fighting.
American University says it's not closing its School of Education despite discussions of that circulating online. There were concerns that the closure could start this morning when there were allegations from an email that the School of Education's dean posted on social media. The email cited a $60 million university-wide deficit as the cause for the cuts. American University telling DC News Now there is no discussion or change to its academic programs, offerings, or mission. Our commitment to the growth and success of the School of Education remains steadfast and strong.
In Maryland, the city of Rockville has appointed a new interim police chief. Major Jason West was appointed today. He'll start his new role next Friday. That appointment comes weeks after Chief Victor Brito resigned after 6 years on the job. No reason for his resignation has been given.
All right, my friends, let's take a live look right now at the White House tonight, where President-elect Trump met with President Biden. It's the first time that Trump has returned to the Oval Office since leaving 4 years ago. The traditional visit is part of the peaceful transfer of power, which Trump did not extend to Biden in 2020.
We can make sure you're accommodated. I appreciate it very much. A transition that's so smooth, it'll be as smooth as it can get.
Officials say the pair discussed important national security and domestic policy during that 2-hour meeting.
And the president-elect continues to build out his second administration. Today, Trump nominating Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Gaetz is currently at the center of a sex trafficking investigation involving a 17-year-old girl. He has denied all allegations. Trump also nominating Florida Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State and former Democratic Congressman Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence. Trump also put an emphasis so far on aides and allies who are his strongest supporters during the 2024 campaign.
'Tis the season for spreading some joy and bringing the community together, and that is the goal at the Village of Leesburg. This is the annual tree lighting festival. It's happening this weekend at 6 on Saturday night. Before that, there will be a holiday open house that starts in the afternoon at 2. There will be ice skating, a train ride, and Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be there.
Ooh, they're
big
busy
hitters
right
now.
They're busy right now. It's got to be a great event then. All right, the Capitol Christmas tree is on its way on its national tour, set to arrive in D.C. next week, and we are tracking its journey. Tree will travel 4,000 miles all the way from Alaska here to the Capitol. Several stops along the way. Now, here's some photos of the 80-foot spruce. It's in Loveland, Colorado on Monday. The trip is a 60-year tradition that brings a tree from the Alaska forest here to D.C. It's 700 miles by sea and 4,000 by truck. Can't wait to see it when it's all lit up. It's such a cool event.
Oh, I know. I can't wait to check it out for the first time. It looks like a lot of fun and festivities. A good tradition.
Indeed.